वासुदेवाय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणि निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणि। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Today we will discuss a shloka from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. This comes in the Madhya Leela, 22nd chapter, in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami. And the shloka also is can be found in Padyvali and also in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu written by Rupa Goswami. Even Padyvali is also a composition by Rupa Goswami. So the significance of the shloka is that this shloka describes the best examples of several devotees who perfected their lives by practicing a particular limb of devotional service. We know there are different limbs of bhakti, different ways in which we can serve Krishna. What are the 9 processes of bhakti?
Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam.
So these are the 9 processes of bhakti. And an elaborate description of all these 9 processes is present in Bhagavatam and many other places also. Specifically, this shloka, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnoha Smaranam, Padasevanam. So this shloka is specifically found in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's Prahlad who enumerated all these 9 processes of bhakti. Shravana means hearing about the Lord, Kirtana means the singing the glories of the Lord. Now, the current shloka that we are going to discuss today, that gives the best examples of devotees who perfected their lives by sticking to any one of these processes. So let's recite now. Shri Vishnu Shravane Parikshida Bhavadvayasakih Kirtane Prahlada Smarane Twadangri Bhajane Lakshmi Pruthu Pujane Akrurastvabhivandane Kapipatirdasyetha Sakhyarjuna Sarvasvatmanivedane Balirabhut Krishnaptiresham Param. Should we do line by line or let's do the full shloka? Haridev. Sri Vishnu Shravane Parikshida Bhavadvayasakih Kirtane
Shri Vishnu Shravane Parikshita Bhavadvayasake Kirtane
Prahlada Smarane Tadangri Bhajane Lakshmi Pruthu Pujane
Prahlada Smarane Tadangri Pujane Lakshmi Prithu Pujane
Akrurastvabhivandane Kapipatirdasyetha Sakhyarjuna
Akrurasta Abhavyend Kapitar Dasyeta Sakyarjuna
Sarvasvatmanivedane Balirabhut Krishnaptiresham Param.
Sarvasvaptanivedane Balirabhut Krishnaya.
Okay, thank you.
Krishnaya.
Next. Krishnaptiresham Para.
Shri
Vishnu.
Shri Vishnu Shravane Parikshida Vayasaki Kirtane Prahlada Smarane Tadangri Bhajane Lakshmi Prutu Pujane Akrura Swabhivandane Kapipate Tasyeta Sakyarjuna सर्वस्वात्मनिवेदने बलिरभूत् कृष्णाप्तिरेषां परा.
Next.
Prabhu, can I repeat that?
Sure. Sri Vishnu Shravane Parikshidabhavad Kirtane.
श्री विष्णु श्रवणे परीक्षितभवान् वैयासके कीर्तने.
प्रह्लादस्मरणे तदङ्घ्रि भजने लक्ष्मी पृथुः पूजने.
प्रह्लादस्मरणे तदङ्घ्रि भजने लक्ष्मी पृथुः पूजने.
अक्रूरस्त्वभिवन्दने कपिपतेर्दास्येथ सखेऽर्जुन.
अक्रूरस्त्वभिवन्दकपिपते दास्येति सख्येऽर्जुना.
सर्वस्वात्मनिवेदने बलिरभूत् कृष्णाप्तिरेषां परा.
सर्वस्वात्मनिवेदना
अभूत्.
बलिभूत् कृष्णाप्तिरेषां परा.
Okay. Next. Recite.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Shri Vishnu Shavane Parikshita Bhavan Vyasaki Kirtane Prahlada Smarane Tadangri Bhajane Lakshmi Pritu Pujane Akrurasthabhivandane Kapipate Dasyetha Sakhye Juna सर्वस्वात्मनिवेदने बलिरभूत् कृष्णाप्तिरेषां परा.
Okay, great. One more. Riyansh. Sri Vishnu Shravane Parikshidabhavad Vyasaki Kirtane.
Sri Vishnu Shavane Parikshidabhavad Vyasaki Kirtane.
प्रह्लादस्मरणे तदङ्घ्रि भजने लक्ष्मी पृथुः पूजने.
प्रह्लादस्मरणे तदङ्घ्रि भजने लक्ष्मी पृथु पूजने.
अक्रूरस्त्वभिवन्दने कपिपतेर्दास्येथ सख्येऽर्जुन.
अक्रूरस्त्वभिवन्दने कपिपते दास्येथ सख्येऽर्जुन.
सर्वस्वात्मनिवेदने बलिरभूत् कृष्णाप्तिरेषां परा.
सर्वस्वात्मनिवेदनो बलिरभूत् कृष्णाप्तिरेषां परा.
Okay. Thank you. We will discuss the meaning of this shloka. There are 9 processes of bhakti, as we have already discussed. In that, the first process is Shravani. Sri Vishnoh Shravane Parikshita Bhavat. The best example of someone who perfected one's life, perfected one's bhakti by Shravana, by hearing about the Lord, is Parikshit Maharaj. He is the best example of one who has heard Srimad Bhagavatam in the last 7 days of his life and perfected his life. Does it mean that Parikshit has not done any other limbs of bhakti? Parikshit is a wonderful example of Shravana, no doubt. But did he not do Kirtanam? Did he not do Smaranam? Did he not do Padasevanam? Or did anyone else not do Shravanam? Are there other examples of Shravanam also? Yes, Gaurangi.
We prominently did Shravanam.
Prominently he did Shravanam, especially in the last 1 week. Therefore, he is given as the wonderful example of Shravanam. But there are many other devotees who perfected their lives by doing Shravanam, right? So many devotees are very attached to hearing Harikatha from multiple other devotees. For example, there are the thousands of sages of Naimisharanya, they heard Srimad Bhagavatam from Sutta Goswami. Yes, Karthik Kamath, you want to say something?
Prabhuji, Devahuti heard from Kapil Dev.
Correct. You're
Prabhuji,
right.
Srila Prabhupada used to hear from Mukti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, though
Okay.
he didn't understand most of it, but still he used to hear patiently. And when he
Hmm.
was like going to be initiated, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati said, "Yes, I know this Abhay Babu. He listens very carefully."
Correct. Okay. So here one example is given in this shloka. That does not mean there are no more examples. Here one limb of bhakti is given, but that does not mean these devotees have not performed other limbs. This is a prominent one, right? Parikshit is known for his Shravanam more than other limbs. Okay. Next, Vaiyasaki Kirtane. Vaiyasaki means son of Vyasadeva. Who is that? Sukadeva Goswami. He is an example of Kirtanam. He glorified the Lord. Kirtana. What exactly is Kirtana? Kirti means glories of the Lord. Kirtana means to glorify the Lord. And that glorification of the Lord can be done either in the form of singing or speaking or even serving. When somebody is serving and cleaning the temple of the Lord, that is also Kirtan. How is it Kirtan? There are no musical instruments. Oftentimes we think Kirtan means playing harmonium, playing kartal, playing mridanga, and then singing in mic. But it's not necessarily Kirtan. Kirtan means to glorify the Lord. And glorification of the Lord can be done by speaking also, by working also. The very fact that you are cleaning the Lord's temple or you are serving the Lord in some way, that is basically acknowledging the glories of the Lord. That is also Kirtanam, right? But Sukadeva Goswami is given as an example of someone who glorified the Lord verbally for 7 days continuously, right? But before he gave Bhagavatam class for 7 days, he sat in Vyasadev's Bhagavatam class and he heard from Vyasadeva. Therefore, Parikshit is also a good, Sukadeva Goswami is also a good example of Shravanam. Because without Shravanam, you cannot do Kirtanam. Unless we hear from a bona fide source, you cannot transmit that knowledge to another person, right? So, Parikshit is definitely an example of Shravanam, but that does not mean Sukadeva Goswami has not done any Shravanam. He also heard. He studied Bhagavatam nicely. What is that shloka? In the first canto, 7th chapter, there is a series of shlokas that describe how Vyasadeva has transmitted Bhagavatam knowledge to Sukadeva Goswami. It says, Nityam Vishnu Janapriyah Bhagavan Badarayani Adhyagan Mahadakhyanam Harer Gunakshiptamatihi Bhagavan Badarayani Adhyagat Mahadakhyanam Nityam Vishnu Janapriyah. So, Sukadeva Goswami heard Srimad Bhagavatam from Vyasadeva, and Adhyagan Mahadakhyanam, he studied this Bhagavatam nicely. Then he became very close to all the devotees, and devotees became close to him. This is 1.7.11. Okay, Adhyagan Mahadakhyanam. Even Sukadeva Goswami studied Srimad Bhagavatam, but he is a prominent example for Kirtanam. So this is second. This is first. Shravanam Kirtanam. Next. Prahlada Smarane Tadangri Bhajane Lakshmi Pruthuk Pujane. Prahlada is an example of Smarana. He is constantly remembering Lord Hari. There are many more devotees who remember Lord Hari in various ways, but Prahlada is considered a very sweet example, right? Prahlada Smarani. Now, any other example of devotees who did Smaranam? Were good examples from yes, Kamakshi?
Prabhuji, there was a Brahmana who was doing Shravanam, and in the meditation, he made a pot of sweet rice for Gopalji, and then he wanted to touch it, and when he touched it, actually physically also his finger got burned.
Oh, okay, fine. We discussed it before.
Prabhuji, another example is Nosing Mehta.
Fine. There are many people, they basically did dhyanam. They meditated on their service to the Lord, definitely. Okay. They were unable to do service to the Lord physically. So they closed their eyes. This Pratishtanpur Brahmana, he closed his eyes and he meditated on offering several services to the Lord. But Sravanam is little, definitely he's an example of Smaranam, but Smaranam is little more expansive. It's not about meditating on rendering a particular service to the Lord. It's like overall how Krishna conscious you are, how much you are remembering the Lord throughout your day. Okay, such examples are so many. Yes.
So the Vitrasur, as he was going to war with Isra, he was remembering the Lord.
Yes, definitely. Ambarish Maharaj is an example. Yes, Krishna, what's your example?
Prabhuji, Rukmini Devi.
Rukmini Devi. Yes, Rukmini Devi is an example of Shravana also. She has heard from Narad Muni and many other devotees. Okay. Definitely, there are multiple examples. And amongst them, gopis stand out so much. Okay. Gopis are constantly doing smaranam of Krishna, whatever they are doing. Yado, Yado Hani Vahanani. Who will, yes.
यादो हने वहनने मथनोपलेपा प्रियङ्काङ्कनाभृतमतोक्षरमार्जनादौ गायन्तरक्तमनुसं
Gayanti Chainamanuraktadhyo
रक्तधियो
Shrukanthyo
श्रीकण्ठ्यो धन्यस्
Dhanyavrajastriya Urukramachittaya.
चित्तयान्नः
So, gopis also were constantly remembering Krishna, whatever they are doing. Okay. So, here Prahlad is given as one example of Smaranam. Then Tadangri Bhajane Lakshmi hi Pruthuh Pujane. Tadangri Bhajane is Lakshmi. This is Pada Sevanam. Lakshmi Devi is given an example of serving the lotus feet of the Lord. In this way, many devotees have served the lotus feet of the Lord in various ways, but Lakshmi is constantly seen massaging the legs of the Lord. Therefore, she is given as an example here. Like in the third canto of Bhagavatam, Lord Kapila glorifies the activities of Lakshmi Devi. He says, Janudvayam jala jalochanaya jananya lakshmya khilasya surabanditaya vidhatu. Who knows this shloka? Anyone knows this shloka? Janudvayam jalajalochanaya jananya. That lotus-eyed mother, Lakshmi, is seen constantly pressing the lotus feet of the Lord. That is her pada sevanam. Tadangri bhajani. Next, pruthuhu pujane. Puja is worship. Okay. So this is done very prominently by Prithu Maharaj. Prithu Maharaj, after he performed 99 sacrifices, when he was doing his 100th sacrifice, Indra came and disrupted his sacrifice. Then Brahma came and told, you don't have to perform this sacrifice. You just stop the sacrifice. Then Lord Vishnu appeared in the sacrifice, and Vishnu praised Prithu Maharaj's detachment and all. Then Prithu Maharaj offered prayers to the Lord. Wonderful series of prayers. Varan vibhotvadvaradeshwarat buddha katham vriniti guna vikriyatmanam. In that series, he also says, oh Lord, I also want to do pada sevanam. I also want to serve your lotus feet. When I come to serve your lotus feet, definitely there will be a competition between me and Lakshmi Devi. Okay. But you will favor me more than Lakshmi, because you are more supportive towards your devotees than your wife. Okay, for you, devotees are more important than your wife. Therefore, you'll take my side. I also don't want to do pada sevanam. Although he's an example of archanam, worshipping the Lord, but still he wants to do pada sevanam also. Okay, but later Prithu Maharaj, although he said that there will be a competition between me and Lakshmi, there is actually no competition. Lakshmi Devi serves the Lord's lotus feet in the mood of a wife in Madhurya Rasa. Similarly, Prithu Maharaj also serves the lotus feet of the Lord in his particular mood, in Dasya Rasa. How can there be a conflict between Dasya Rasa and Madhurya Rasa? Wife services. Servant services. So there is no conflict as such. But out of his intimacy, out of his closeness towards the Lord, he said that there may be some quarrel between Lakshmi and me. But definitely that is not possible. It's a fun. It's transcendental fun. So that is Prithu Maharaj's example of worship. He worshipped the Lord so nicely. Akrurastvabhivandane kapipate dasyeta sakhyarjuna. Akrurastu abhivandane. Abhivandana means offering prayers to the Lord. Akrura is seen as a best example, as Akrura was traveling from Mathura to Vrindavan to bring Krishna and Balaram from Vrindavan to Mathura. On the way, he was meditating on the Lord. He was constantly meditating on the Lord. He was offering prayers to the Lord. He was saying, Yasyakhilamiva habissubangalaihi vacho vimishra gunakarma janmabhi prananti shumbhanti punanti vai jagadyastadvirakta shavashobhanamata. So, okay, I will not elaborate on this meaning, but he had a series of shlokas where he was meditating on, when I go to Vrindavan, I will be able to offer obeisances to the lotus feet of the Lord. Then Krishna will lift me up. Krishna will embrace me. Krishna will not misunderstand me just because I am a representative of Kamsa. We may be representatives of Kamsa or whatever as a part of our service, but Krishna will never misunderstand. So just because somebody is siding a villain, that does not mean he himself is also a villain. Okay. Just like Bhishma was on the side of Duryodhan. But Bhishma is a pure-hearted devotee of Krishna. Krishna never misunderstood Bhishma, although he was fighting on behalf of Duryodhan. Similarly, Krishna did not misunderstand Akrura also, although Akrura was coming as a representative of Kamsa, and his attempt is separating Krishna from Vrindavan. Of course, that separation is never possible, but he came particularly to take Krishna out of Vrindavan. But Krishna never misunderstood him. Okay. So that Akrura, when he came to Vrindavan, he looked at the footprints of Krishna on the land of Vrindavan. He went into an ecstatic meditation, deep meditation on Krishna, and he was rolling on the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. He was not even thinking that, oh, Kamsa's spies may be there here and there. They are observing my activities. If they see my display of devotion, public display of devotion towards Krishna, then they may note this point and they will inform Kamsa. Kamsa may kill me. Kamsa may harm my family members there. All this risk, so much risk. But Akrura was totally oblivious to all this. Even at the risk of being punished by Kamsa, Akrura openly exhibited his devotion, offering prayers. Right? He was offering prayers to the Lord. So therefore, Akrurastu Abhivandani, Vandanam, is an example of prayerful attitude. Then Kapipatir Dasye. Kapi is monkey. Kapipati means the best of all monkeys, that is our dear Hanuman. Dasye. He is the best example of service to the Lord. There are so many devotees who have done services. Okay, can you tell me an example of devotees who offered prayers to the Lord? Abhivandana, we'll see other examples. Yes, Yashoda.
Prahlad Maharaj. I mean,
Okay.
Dhruva.
Dhruva offered prayers, Prahlad offered prayers.
Gajendra.
Gajendra is wonderful example of offering prayers. And yes, Gaurangi.
Kunti Vitrasura.
Kunti Vritrasur. Kamakshi.
Prabhuji, I wanted to say Kunti only.
Okay. Your answer is gone. Gaurangi has taken away your example. Anyways, there are so many devotees who offered prayers. Then similarly, Dasya, who rendered so many services to the Lord. Services. Here, Hanuman is shown as a good example, but there are other devotees also who did so
He
many.
like toils hard every day of his life to create the universe again and again to serve the
Huh?
Lord.
Who is that?
Brahma.
Oh, Brahma. Yes, yes. Brahma also is an example of service. Anyone else? Yes, Krishna.
Prabhuji, Gopis and Yashoda Mata.
Correct. But they have their own rasas. Yes, Divya Krishna.
Probably Balaramji.
Balramji, wonderful example.
Sakhya and Dasya Rasa.
Yes, yes. He serves the Lord in all five rasas, actually, Balramji. He serves in Sakhya rasa as a friend of Krishna, as a cowherd boy who accompanies Krishna into the forest. Dasya, he also massages the lotus feet of Krishna. Okay, Sakhya, Dasya, Vatsalya, as an elder brother, he has a lot of affection for Krishna. Then he is also into Madhurya Rasa. He expands himself as Ananga Manjari, Srimati Radharani's sister, and serves Krishna in the mood of Madhurya. And he also expands himself into the paraphernalia of Krishna and serves the Lord in Sakhya mood. So like that, Balramji is an example of service in all five modes. But Hanumanji's example is standing out so much because of his extreme degree of Dasya Bhava. Yes, gopis serve Krishna, but their service is an accompaniment to their Madhurya Bhava. Okay, they identify themselves as lovers of Krishna. Similarly, Yashoda Mata, she identifies herself as a mother of Krishna and thus serves Krishna like a mother. But Hanuman identifies himself only as a servant of Ram and serves Ram. Right? So the mode of service and service match. Okay, everybody can do service. Ekale Ishvara Krishna Arasabhabhritya. but they have their own particular modes. But Hanumanji is identifying himself not as a friend of Ram, or father of Ram, or mother of Ram, or lover of Ram, mainly as servant of Ram. So Dasya is also matching. So he's an example of Dasya Rasa. Then Arjunaha, Sakhya Arjunaha. As far as considering the Lord as friend is concerned, Arjuna stands out amongst all of them. Of course, there are many other Gopas in Vrindavan. They are examples of Sakhya Rasa, but Arjuna's example is given. Sarvasvatmani vedane balirabhut krishnaptiresham param. Bali Maharaj is known to have surrendered everything that he has. Sarvasva Atmani vedane. First is Sarvasva. Sarvasva means whatever he has. Atma means he himself. Right? We need to cultivate this. Sarvasva Atmani vedane. Sarvasva means you, whatever belongs to you, you surrender to Krishna. Atmani vedana means you surrender yourself to Krishna also. So bhakti is not just offering something to Krishna, patram pushpam phalam toyam. You offer something to Krishna, that is bhakti. But you offer yourself to Krishna. That is a higher bhakti. So Bali Maharaj, first he has given whatever he had to the Lord in the form of the entire universe. All the three worlds, he surrendered to the Lord within 2 steps. In the 3rd step, he surrendered himself to the Lord. So bhakti is offering whatever you have to Krishna, plus offering yourself to Krishna also. I think we discussed it before. If Bali has offered the 3 worlds to Vamanadev, and all the 3 worlds, entire universe is equivalent to the 2 steps of the Lord, how can Bali's head be equal to the 3rd step? Right? 2 steps are occupying the entire universe. 3rd step means he should offer half more universe, half universe more. But he just offered his head. Okay, this is your 3rd step. If this is the 3rd step, then the first 2 steps also should be equivalent to this. How can he occupy the entire universe? How is it justified? Yes.
Guruji, his universe is the possession and he is the possessor. So the possessor is always greater than the possession. So his head is maybe compared to half the universe.
Yes. Physically speaking, the area on his head is much less than the universe, but it's not about area. He's offering himself. This is Atma Nivedana. First 2 steps are Sarvasva. 3rd step is Atma Nivedana. Okay, he's giving himself. So possessor or the proprietor is greater than property. Possessor is greater than possessions. So if you offer yourself to Krishna, that's a greater offering than offering something to Krishna. Offering gold, diamonds, and patram pushpam phalam to Krishna, right? Therefore, the 3rd step that Bali Maharaj offered is greater than the first 2 steps. Okay, first 2 steps are very small. Actually, first 2 steps are insignificant. What will the Lord do with the 3 worlds? Right? There are millions and trillions of universes coming out of his bodily pores whenever he's breathing, and he's constantly breathing in his expansion as Mahavishnu. So actually, the Lord came to take Bali. He is more interested in the 3rd step than the first 2 steps. First 2 steps are just a formality to create a wonderful dramatic situation so that Bali can offer the 3rd step. Okay, so Bali is an example of Atma Nivedanam. So in this way, we have examples of multiple such devotees who perfected their lives by doing, by dedicating everything that they have to the lotus feet of the Lord. And as Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu says, we can do Ekanga Bhakti, we can do Anekanga Bhakti. Ekanga Bhakti means you stick to one limb, any one of these 9 limbs. Or Rupa Goswami enumerates 5 potent limbs of Bhakti. You stick to one of them. What are the 5 potent limbs of Bhakti? Yes, Vrinda.
Reciting in Mathura, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, association of devotees, chanting the holy names, and
okay. Deity worship.
deity worship, yes, sir.
Okay. So these are the 5 potent limbs. You stick to one of them. Sticking to one of them does not mean you ignore others or underestimate others. So other limbs also we perform, but prominently there can be one limb. Okay. So you can do Ekanga Bhakti, you can do Anekanga Bhakti. Ambarish Maharaj did Anekanga Bhakti. So savai pumsa, savai manah Krishna padaravindayor vachamsi vaikuntha gunanuvarnani. So he used his tongue to glorify the Lord. He used his ears to do Sravanam. He was doing Sravanam, he was doing Kirtanam. And he used his mind to remember the Lord. He's doing Smaranam also. Like that, Ambarish Maharaj is an example of Anekanga Bhakti, where he nicely performed all the limbs. And there are other devotees who prominently performed one limb, and they also performed other limbs, little low profile. Okay, so the takeaway here is it's extremely rare to get an opportunity to render devotional service unto Krishna in one of these 9 forms or one of the 5 forms. So let us not waste that opportunity. Let us not lose that opportunity. If we don't use it, we lose it, right? If we don't use that opportunity, utilize that opportunity to the fullest extent to come closer to Krishna, we may even lose it. Therefore, this rare gift that Srila Prabhupada has given us, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us, Krishna has given us, let us not lose it by being neglectful or by being complacent or by getting distracted by so many allurements of Kali Yuga. Let us stick to the path of bhakti to the best of our ability and then come closer to Krishna. Thank you very much. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, who will recite now? Shri Vishnu Shravane Parikshida Bhavadvayasakih Kirtane
श्रीविष्णो श्रवणे परीक्षित अभवत् वैयासकिः कीर्तने
प्रह्लादस्मरणे तदङ्घ्रि भजने लक्ष्मी पृथुः पूजने
प्रह्लादः स्मरणे तदङ्घ्रि भजने लक्ष्मी पृथुः पूजने
अक्रूरस्त्वभिवन्दने कपिपतेर्दास्येऽथ सख्येऽर्जुन
अक्रूरस्त्वभिवन्दने कपिपतेर्दास्येऽथ सख्येऽर्जुन
सर्वस्वात्मनिवेदने बलिरभूत् कृष्णाप्तिरेषां परा
सर्वस्वाप्तं निवेदने बलिरभूत् कृष्णाप्तिरेषां परा
नेक्स्ट श्रीलक्ष्मी श्रीविष्णो श्रवणे परीक्षिदभवद्वैयासकिः कीर्तने
श्रीविष्णु श्रवणे परीक्षित अभवद् वैयासखि कीर्तने
प्रह्लादस्मरणे तदङ्घ्रिभजने लक्ष्मी पृथुः पूजने
प्रह्लाद स्मरणे तदङ्घ्रि भजने लक्ष्मी पूजने
अक्रूरस्त्वभिवन्दने कपिपतेर्दास्येऽथ सख्येऽर्जुन
आक्रूरस्त्वभिवन्दने कपिपतिर्दास्येत साख्येऽर्जुन
सर्वस्वात्मनिवेदने बलिरभूत् कृष्णाप्तिरेषां पराम्
सर्वस्वात्मनिवेदने बलिरभूत् कृष्णाप्तिरेषां परा हरे कृष्ण प्रभु
श्रीविष्णो श्रवणे परीक्षिदभवद्वैयासकिः कीर्तने
श्रीविष्णु श्रवणे परीक्षितभवद् वैयासखि कीर्तने
प्रह्लादस्मरणे तदङ्घ्रिभजने लक्ष्मीः पृथुः पूजने
प्रह्लाद स्मरणे तदङ्घ्रि भजने लक्ष्मीर्पृथुः पूजने
अक्रूरस्त्वभिवन्दने कपिपतेर्दास्येऽथ सख्येऽर्जुन
अक्रूरस्त्वभिवन्दने कपिपते दास्येत सख्येऽर्जुन
सर्वस्वात्मनिवेदने बलिरभूत् कृष्णाप्तिरेषां पराम्
सर्वे स्वात्मनि निवेदनस्बलिरभूत् कृष्णेर्पतिरेषां परा.
Okay, Manveer, you can recite on your own. Huh? Are you there, Manveer?
श्री विष्णु श्रवणे परीक्षित अभवत् वैयासखी कीर्तने प्रह्लाद स्मरणे तदंग्रि भजने लक्ष्मी पृथु पूजने अक्रूरस्त्व अभिवंदने कविपति दस्येत् सख्यर्जुन सर्वस्वात्म निवेदन बलिरभूत कृष्ण तेरे सांपरा.
Okay, next, last.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hmm.
श्री विष्णु श्रवणे परीक्षित अभवत् वैयासखी कीर्तने प्रह्लाद स्मरणे तदंग्रि भजने लक्ष्मी पृथु पूजने अक्रूरस्त्वपि वंदने कपिपतिर् दास्येत साख्यर्जुन सर्वस्वात्म निवेदने बलिरभूत् कृष्णाप्तिरेषां परा.